Have you ever heard of parallel life? Do we live in two worlds at the same time? Most people who have heard the name parallel worlds probably think that the discussion of parallel worlds is just a fantasy concept that only lives on in the minds of science fiction writers. But the fact of the matter is that the existence of parallel universes is not only a scientific theory, but in the scientific community, those who believe in this theory are far more than its opponents. The theory of parallel universes is theoretically provable in the context of quantum physics, but it has not yet been proven in practice. Numerous experiments have been performed on parallel universes, and most of them, by the way, confirm the existence of parallel universes, but this confirmation has not yet have been proven. The reason for this is more than anything else due to the limitations of current human knowledge and equipment. Subscribe our YouTube channel to watch the rest of this video and more. How does a parallel world come into being? In the beginning, there was only one substance in whole universe, which contained the density of a universe. The substance then exploded from the inside, creating the Big Bang. From the moment the Big Bang came into being, whenever something happened and, for example, matter came into being, a world was created in which the world never happened and that matter never came into being. How many parallel universes are there? How parallel universes came into being is directly related to the number of parallel universes. As mentioned, there are many theories about how parallel universes came into being. Another popular theory, for example, is that the Big Bang itself occurs when two parallel worlds collide, creating a new parallel world. There are many other theories, each of which can be true or even all of them may be false. Consider a pedestrian who decides to cross the street. The moment the passerby made this decision, a parallel world was created in which he did not make this decision. Now consider a driver's cell phone ringing. The driver decides to answer this phone. At this moment, a world is created in which the driver does not answer the phone. While the driver is talking on the phone, he suddenly crashes into a pedestrian. At this moment, a world is created where the driver has passed the pedestrian. Now, suppose that in a world where the driver has collided with a pedestrian, that pedestrian is dead. At this moment, another world is created in which the passerby has only been harmed. Each of these worlds continues to create new and different worlds. Think about how many accidents occur in the world. Each of these accidents can eventually lead to the creation of millions of parallel worlds, each of which can end up in billions of other worlds and so on. The example above was just a concrete example of the theory was discussed earlier, and the purpose of this example was to find an idea and a general nature of how the parallel universes came into being and the number of them. Do only human decisions create parallel worlds? No, there is no credible theory of parallel universes that limits the construction or number of parallel universes to human decisions alone. In all the theories that exist in relation to parallel worlds, worlds have been described in which man did not come into being at all. So according to some theories, it is true that man can create parallel worlds with his own decisions and the events that take place. But there is no theory that limits the creation of parallel worlds to human decisions. Is it possible for a parallel world to exist exactly like ours? According to the theory we have discussed here, a parallel universe is created only when something happens. As a result, there are parallel worlds that have exactly the same past as us, but certainly an event separates those worlds from our world, and that event is what makes our world different from those worlds. But if we turn to a theory that does not know the origin of parallel universes as events and believes that infinitely parallel universes are created simultaneously and expand independently, then we can say that based on statistics and probabilities, there may have been other universes. May they not only be like our world so far, but they will have a similar future to our world. Where are the parallel worlds? If we know for sure that there are parallel universes, then we come across a very popular and of course interesting theory about the location of parallel universes. The theory states that all parallel universes are exactly at the same point, but are vibrating at different frequencies. For this reason, infinitely parallel worlds are at the same time. Is it possible to travel to parallel worlds? The short answer to this question is that, at least with current human science, the probability of traveling to parallel worlds is close to zero. Of course, there are fantasies that, for example, death can take man into a parallel world. but it is clear that this issue can never be scientifically raised and consequently it cannot be scientifically rejected or confirmed. From a scientific point of view, the probability of traveling to parallel worlds, even if we know their existence is certain, is close to zero, unless in the future human science and equipment becomes so advanced that it can control the space-time curve, which is very unlikely, although it is not impossible. Do we live in a parallel world? Assuming that parallel world really exists, then we definitely live in a parallel world. And the last question is that, is our world real? It gets a little complicated here. If we accept the existence of parallel universes and call the same theory we have already discussed correct, then looking at the statistics and probabilities, we conclude that most likely our universe is not that primitive world and is merely one of the versions or copies, that it happened as a result of an accident. But even so, our world is still physically and scientifically real. But philosophically, there is much room for debate.